Hello, today we'll do Ode on a Grecian Urn by the romantic poet John Keats. An ode is a form of poem which is meant to praise some event or some an artifact and so on and so forth. Uh, Grecian urn is a vase, V-A-S-E, from Greece. So the poet came upon vase or an urn from Greece. It was a remnant of ancient Greece, and he's so captivated by the drawings on that urn that he writes this poem in praise of it. So it says, "Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time." So the urn or the vase is unbroken. It is not been shattered into fragments. So it's still an unravished bride. It's the urn is the bride of quietness. So as the poet ponders over the pictures on the urn, he is drawn into a state of silent awe and admiration at the pictures that he sees on the urn. So the urn is the foster child, that is the stepchild of silence and slow time. So the urn has survived for centuries and it has survived in silence. So it is a child of both silence and slow time. The poet continues, he calls it a sylvan historian who can thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. So the word sylvan refers to the forest because there are pictures of trees and woods on the urn. The poet calls it a sylvan historian. So the the pictures on the urn, they tell a tale more, which is more absorbing than the rhyme of the poet, the rhyme which he has written in praise of the that is this very poem. So he continues to describe the urn. He says, "What leaf fringed legend haunts about thy shape, of deities or mortals or of both?" So the urn or the vase has paintings or pictures of woods or forests. So these pictures seem to be fringed, that is, lined on the edge with leaves. So the woods and the forests are the haunts or the places where deities or gods, where deities or mortals are men and women. So the urn seems to be speaking of events which happened long ago in mythology or on the earth, and the poet seems to be wondering what legend is associated with the gods or the men and women who are painted on the urn in Temp or the Dales of Arcady. So the deities and mortals who existed long ago were pictured on the urn. The poet wonders if they were in the temples or the dales. Dales are the meadows of Arcady. Arcady is probably another name for ancient Greece. So the poet continues, "What men or gods are these? What maidens loth?" So the poet wonders who the pictures of the men or gods are of and who are the maidens who are painted on the vase. So next he describes one particular picture which is painted on the urn, in which a youth is pursuing a maiden. So the youth is pursuing the maiden in the hotness of his desire. So the maiden is struggling to escape from the clutches of the youth who is pursuing her. So the poet says, what mad pursuit, what struggle to escape, what pipes and timbrels, what wild ecstasy. So while the scene of the chase is going on, there seems to be pipes and timbrels playing music in the background. Timbrels are musical instruments, and the poet notes the ecstasy or the wild happiness seen in the eyes and the faces of the youth and the maiden. So he continues, heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore ye soft pipes play on. So the background of the chase uh, is the music of the pipes and timbrels, but that music is not heard. The poet says that the music we can hear, the melodies which we can hear are sweet, but those which are unheard only make us want to hear them, and therefore they are sweeter. So the poet urges the pipes and the pipes and the timbrels to play on, not to the sensual ear, but more endeared, pipe to the spirit, ditties of no tone. So the music of the pipes and the timbrels cannot be heard by the sensual ear, the ear belonging to one of the five senses, but it is more dear because it plays music, it pipes to the spirit, music of no tone. Ditties means music, tones. So, next the poet continues, fair youth, beneath the trees thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. So, the youth and the maiden are engaged in their chase uh, beneath the trees. And the poet says, the youth cannot leave his song, which is the music which he seems to be feeling in the pursuit of the maiden. And the poet says, those trees which are painted on the urn can never be bare of leaves. They will always be evergreen. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss, though winning near the goal, yet do not grieve. So the poet says to the youth that he is a bold lover, but he can never kiss the maiden because they are frozen in time. They have held the same pose for many, many centuries. So the poet consoles the youth. He says he can never, never kiss, but even though he seems to be catching up to the maiden, though he's winning near the goal of the maiden, he can never get her. He can never gather her in his arms. So the poet tells him, yet do not grieve, do not be sorrowful, do not be sad. He tells the youth, she cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. So the poet says that the maiden cannot fade, her beauty cannot fade. It is forever etched in the painting on the urn. And though the youth does not have his bliss, though the youth cannot consummate and enjoy the happiness of getting the maiden, the poet says that the youth will ever love, will love forever, and the maiden will forever be fair. Ah, happy, happy vows that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu. So the paintings of the trees on the urn, they seem to be evergreens. They'll seem to have leaves forever. They cannot shed their leaves, and the branches or the boughs on which these leaves are growing are happy, happy boughs, says the poet. And those trees and those woods can never bid the spring farewell. They cannot never bid the spring adieu. Happy and happy melodist, unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. So the musician who's playing on the pipes, he'll be piping songs which are forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love. So the picture seems to speak to the poet across the centuries, and he too feels the happiness, the ecstasy, and the thrill of the chase of the youth for the maiden. So it calls it a happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young. So the painting of the youth and the maiden will be forever warm. They will give life to whoever sees them in in the times of the poet or in future times, and their chase is still to be enjoyed. The youth and the maiden will be forever panting for breath, and they'll be forever young, all breathing human passion far above that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. So the passion which is etched on the uh, vase or the urn is above and beyond the human passion, the passion which humans feel and which is soon dissipated. But the painting on the urn, the passion depicted on the urn, leaves a heart which is full of sorrow and sadness, and it's cloyed or saturated or satiated with the passion that the youth and maiden seem to be feeling. And the passion leaves on the poet a burning forehead and a parching tongue. So the tongue of the poet is parched or it becomes dry when he sees the chase of the youth and the maiden. Next, he describes another scene on the urn. He asks, who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leads thou that heifer lowing at the skies? So next he describes a scene of sacrifice. There is an altar which is set in the woods or the forest. So the poet calls it a green altar, and the priest, is unknown. He calls him a mysterious priest, and the priest seems to be leading a heifer. A heifer is a female ox. It's a cow, and the cow is lowing or mooing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed. So the sides of the heifer are decorated with garlands of flowers. What little town by river or seashore or mountain built with peaceful citadel is emptied of this folk, this pious mourn? So the poet wonders which town by the river or the seashore, uh, which may be on which may be built on a mountain with a peaceful citadel or a fort on it, which town is emptied of its folk this holy morning? All the people of the town will have come to see the sacrifice of the heifer offered by the priest in the woods near the town which is built by the river or seashore. And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be. So the town which is emptied of its inhabitants who come to see the sacrifice will be forever silent because the picture of the empty streets is frozen in time, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can ever return. So there's no one to tell why the town is empty and desolate without people, and the people can never return to their town. Next, the poet describes the urn itself, O Attic shape, fair attitude with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought. So the poet calls it an Attic shape. Attic, the word Attic refers to Greece. So the Attic shape and the fair attitude with decoration of breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, marble men and maidens etched on it and painted on it with forest branches and the trodden weed. So the urn is also decorated with pictures of the trees, the branches of the forest, and the weed which has been stepped upon, which has been trodden upon. Thou silent form, thou dost tease us out of thought. So the urn slowly captivates the mind of the poet. It takes him out of his pensiveness, takes him out of his thoughtfulness. Maybe he's worried, but he forgets his worry as he studies the pictures on the urn. And he says, the urn teases him out of thought as doth eternity. So, eternity uh, is a moment in time which is frozen. So, there are two words in with respect to this. One is forever, and the other is eternity. Forever means without end. You can go forever back in time or forward in time. But eternity is in the present. So when we're, for example, captivated by a piece of music or a painting, then our minds are absorbed. Then we experience eternity. So the vase or the urn seems to tease the poet out of his thought or his worries, and his attention is absorbed in the sight of the urn. So he calls it a cold pastoral. Pastoral is a country picture of a country scene. So the urn has pictures of country scenes. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in the midst of other woe. So even when the poet himself or other people who view the urn become old, and they shall be wasted as time passes by, the poet says the urn itself shall remain in the midst of other sorrows or woes than ours. So in midst of other woe than ours, a friend to man to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty, that is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. So the urn seems to carry a message to the poet. It seems to him to be a friend, not only to him, the poet, but also a friend to mankind. So the message carried by the urn is that beauty is truth, truth is beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. So just as a person is absorbed in and captivated by the sight of beauty, and he experiences eternity in that moment, and that moment lasts forever. So the poet says that the beauty found on earth is truth, and truth is eternal. Truth is without beginning and without end, and truth is beauty. And the poet says that is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. So the proverb, beauty is truth, truth beauty, is all the knowledge, sums up all the knowledge that mankind needs to know on earth, and that is all they do know. So the poet describes the moment of eternity that he has experienced. Thank you.